My three older brothers are all gay, so my dad is counting on me, the only straight one, to continue the family line. I clutch my slightly rounded belly. I can't remember which brother I slept with that night. So whose line am I continuing? Whose heir am I carrying? Son, you're the only real man in this family. My dad clapped me so hard on the back that I almost threw up. A wave of morning sickness hit me. I hastily covered my mouth. Dad, I need to use the restroom. I'm a guy. And I'm pregnant. Some time ago, during a family dinner, I had too much to drink. My three brothers were all fighting over who would take me back to my room. Who ended up doing it, I can't remember. I only recall the tearing pain in my inner thighs when I woke up the next day. A few months later, the doctor told me, the fetus in your abdomen has already formed. Bullshit, I'm a guy, how could I possibly be preg-wretch? In the end, clutching my aching stomach and the ridiculous ultrasound report, I had to accept it. Dr. Evans said there had been a recent spike in male pregnancies, and the cause was still under investigation. He assured me the hospital would maintain patient confidentiality. He also told me to bring my boyfriend to the next checkup. Walking down the hospital corridor, every few steps I'd see a delicate-looking guy clutching his stomach and crying in his boyfriend's arms. It was all so bizarre. Whatever the case, I absolutely could not let anyone find out I was pregnant. Right then, having just finished throwing up, I looked up. My playboy second brother, Tristan, was leaning against the bathroom doorway, a teasing look on his face. Ori, Dad was in the middle of talking. Why'd you run off? I wasn't in the mood to deal with him and tried to walk past, but he suddenly wrapped an arm around my waist. Pregnant, how did he know? Could it be that night? Was it Tristan who? Tristan's hand moved toward my stomach. He raised an eyebrow. I've seen you throwing up a few times lately. Morning sickness. Just as he was about to touch my belly, I slapped his hand away and pinned him against the door. So the night of the family dinner, it was you who? I glared at him. It was you who took me back to my room, wasn't it? Tristan leaned his head against the door, a smirk on his lips as he lifted a hand to tilt my chin. Of course it was your dearest second brother who took you back. He was already a notorious flirt, but I never thought he'd go after me. That bastard, I was about to punch him when he threw his hands up in surrender. A shame, really. I was halfway there when your third brother, Silas, intercepted me. So Silas was the one who took me back to my room in the end. Well, he goes into your room every night after you fall asleep anyway, so I just handed you over to him. What's he doing in my room every night? Realizing he'd let it slip, Tristan clamped a hand over his mouth. Hey, you didn't hear it from me. Don't you dare tell him I was the one who told you. I jabbed him with my elbow. Then why did you say I was pregnant? Did he know something else? Just kidding around. How could a guy like you get pregnant? You mad? It seemed he didn't actually know, and it probably wasn't him that night. I spun around to find Silas. He'd been sneaking into my room every night while I slept. What good could come of that? But as I turned, my stomach accidentally bumped against Tristan's hand. Tristan's brow furrowed. When did your stomach get so round? Silas was the bookworm, the honest, nerdy type. I never thought he'd do something like this behind my back. I burst into his room. He had just gotten out of the shower, wearing only a towel, and looked a little surprised. Ori. Furious, I launched myself at him, getting right in his face. Why have you been sneaking into my room every night while I'm asleep? I tackled him onto the bed, nearly yanking his towel off. Ori, let's just talk this out. I enunciated every word. Why were you in my room? His eyes darted away. You must have been seeing things. Tristan told me everything. Silas panicked. What? How could he stammered. So Tristan was telling the truth. I'd found the baby's father. It was all his fault. I was pregnant. My reputation as a straight-laced guy ruined by him. I pinned Silas down, my fists clenched. Silas, oh Silas, I never would have thought that you were the one who that night. Before I could finish, another wave of nausea rose in my chest. I covered my mouth and rushed to the bathroom. When I came out, Silas was gone. I tried calling his phone, but it went straight to voicemail. Looking out the window, I saw Silas tearing out of the house like a bat out of hell. It was him, no doubt about it. If it wasn't him, why would he run? Why would his phone be off? Stop! I chased after him, but my dad blocked the doorway. He cursed at Silas's retreating figure. I don't know what I did in a past life to deserve this. Three good-for-nothings who will let the family line die out. Then he slung an arm around my shoulder. Thank God I still have you, son. Actually, that's not going so well either. From now on, the family business, you'll be the one to inherit it, the massive Hayes family enterprise. All to me, the only adopted son. As the only straight man in our family, you have to be the one to continue the family line. My dad beamed with relief. You have to give me a big, healthy grandson, as much as I wanted to inherit the business, but seeing him so happy, I forced myself to reply. Does it matter who gives birth? My dad's smile grew even wider. What do you mean? Do I have a daughter-in-law? Which family is she from? If this baby in my belly is really born, I had no idea if it would call him grandpa from his dad's side or grandpa from his mom's side. Or if my dad would have to call Silas his son or his daughter-in-law. No, not yet, I said, my expression stiff. But I can definitely make sure you get one way or another. My dad waved a dismissive hand. It doesn't matter who you have it with, we don't care about their family background or financial status. Dad, what is it? How's your blood pressure lately? Thanks to my dad's unexpected interception, I lost Silas. I blew up his phone, but it was still off. All I could do was spam him with messages. Get back here, explain everything to me. Do you have any idea what I'm? I held back, still unable to tell him I was pregnant. It was helpless rage. Silas, are you trying to destroy this family? As evening fell, Silas still hadn't returned. Fine, too cowardly to face what you did. Stay away forever if you have the guts. Hide for the rest of your life. At dinner time, my stern, elite older brother, Caspian, returned from a business trip abroad. My dad announced nonchalantly, once Orion marries a wife and gives me a grandson, the company will be his. Caspian's face turned cold. Dad, I believe I should be the one to take over the company. In terms of qualifications and experience, I'm the strongest in this family. My dad snorted. HMPH, and why can't Orion do it? Caspian was fiercely competitive. It was normal for him to disagree. But then, under the table, he suddenly reached out and placed his hand on my swollen belly. My chopsticks froze mid-air as our eyes met. Beneath the table, his rough, large hand moved wantonly over my stomach, kneading my round belly in circles like it was a stress ball. I didn't dare move. He gave me a meaningful look and let out a soft chuckle. Dad, I'm afraid Orion isn't the heir you're looking for. How did he know? How did he know my secret? Of my 3 brothers, Caspian was the only one I never dared to cross. He never gave me a kind look, always wearing a stern, severe expression. No, it couldn't be him. He doesn't even like me. Besides, I had already confirmed it. It was Silas. Caspian withdrew his hand from my stomach. Nervously, I picked up some food with my chopsticks. Just as I was about to eat, Caspian's large hand came from behind and rested on my back. He firmly removed the chili peppers from my bowl. Ori, at a time like this, you probably shouldn't be eating spicy food, right? Why would he say something like that to me? My brain was a total mess. Then Tristan chimed in. Yeah, Ori, maybe lay off the spicy stuff for now. Why was he saying it too? My brain was a total jumble. I'd completely lost my appetite. Just a moment ago, I was sure it was Silas. Now I wasn't so sure anymore. After dinner, Caspian grabbed my wrist, his ambition burning in his eyes. No matter what Dad says, the company will be mine. When Silas returned, he still avoided my gaze, but I didn't question him again. If Tristan had been lying, then it wasn't Silas. Silas was usually so honest. He might have just been nervous because I yelled at him. In the days that followed, my life became a minefield. Caspian would touch my stomach at random moments. Tristan would find excuses to pinch my waist or speak with his face right next to mine. And at night, I had to worry about Silas sneaking into my room. One night, I dreamed my belly grew bigger and bigger. The baby popped out. It crawled all over the floor, crying, "Daddy," then it surrounded my 3 brothers, asking me which one it should call Daddy. The immense psychological pressure. My ever-expanding belly, the father who was nowhere to be found. I finally couldn't stand being at home anymore. I messaged my university senior for help. Ethan, it's Orion Hayes. Would it be okay if I stayed at your place for a few days? Ethan was known for being reserved and cool, so he might not agree, but he was the most trustworthy person I knew. I had to try. To my surprise, he replied instantly. It's okay. It's always okay for you to stay as long as you want. Do you need me to pick you up? Message retracted. When are you coming? Message retracted. Are you coming today? Message retracted. Orion Hayes, I'm coming to get you now. This was great. He actually agreed. I sent him another message. Ethan, there's something else I need to tell you. You have to keep this a secret for me. Ethan replied, Orion Hayes, I'll keep any secret for you. By the time Ethan picked me up and brought me to his place, the stress of the past few days had given me a fever. I lay weakly on his big bed. He peeled off my outer clothes, layer by layer. When he got to the last layer, I pressed his hand to stop him. No more. I couldn't take any more off. Any more and he'd see my pregnant belly. Okay, Ethan pulled his hand back and fed me some porridge and medicine. I soon fell into a deep sleep under the covers, but the fever didn't break that easily, and I drifted into a series of chaotic dreams. In the dream, my belly swelled even larger than before, filling the entire room. With a loud pop, the room was filled with babies. My stomach deflated instantly like a popped balloon. The room full of babies crawled on the floor, searching for their daddy. They pulled at my legs, tugged my arms, and bit my ears. The demon babies were unleashed. My body grew hotter and hotter, and I tossed and turned in a panic. I gasped for air, trembling uncontrollably. Suddenly, a cool body pressed against my back. Orion Hayes. Orion Hayes. The cool body held me. Orion Hayes, are you okay? I'm here, I'm here. I couldn't hear Ethan's voice, only the room full of babies calling me daddy. A sharp pain shot through my head. My brain exploded with a buzz. I thrashed on the bed and flipped over, shouting, "I'm not the daddy." My lips brushed against something soft. I opened my eyes. I was in Ethan's arms, our lips pressed together, our eyes locked. I pulled back in a flash. "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Ethan's face was red. "It's okay, I don't mind." After sweating it out, my headache had subsided. "Ethan, thank you for taking me in. You don't have to thank me." "But why did you want to leave home? I thought your brothers were good to you." "Those three are too dangerous. It's safer here with you." Ethan pulled his hand away from where it rested on my hip, his gaze shy. "Was I the first person you thought of, or did you ask anyone else?" "Of course you were the first person I thought of." Ethan's face grew even redder. "So, why me?" "Because he was the only person I knew who could keep his mouth shut. If I had told any of my other friends, the whole world would know I was pregnant by the next day." Ethan sniffed the air. "You smell really nice." He licked his lips. "Orion Hayes, I've actually always thought you were special. I just never had the chance to tell you. After that day, you didn't reply to my messages, so I thought you were mad at me and didn't want to talk to me anymore. I thought after what happened, we'd never have a chance. Since you also see me as someone you're close to, then maybe we could." What was he rambling about? I couldn't understand a word. I cut off his nonsense. In a hushed voice, I said, "Ethan, I have a secret to tell you." Ethan's pupils trembled as he looked at me. "I have a secret to tell you too." He paused. "You go first." "Okay, I'll tell you, then you can tell me." But when the words reached my lips, I couldn't bring myself to say them. "I'm a guy and I'm pregnant." It was too humiliating suddenly. Ethan remembered something. "You were having a nightmare just now, weren't you? You kept saying you weren't the daddy." A light bulb went off in my head. I could just phrase it differently. I wouldn't tell him about my pregnancy just yet. Any normal person would think I was crazy, right? What if he kicked me out? What would I do then? Some things are easier for people to accept if you phrase them differently. So I said, "That's my secret. I'm going to be a dad." It was like Ethan had been struck by lightning. His face was a mask of disbelief. "What do you mean? You've got to be kidding me." Even putting it that delicately, he still couldn't accept it. Thank God I was smart enough not to tell him I was the one who was pregnant. It means what it says. I'm going to have a baby. You have to promise not to tell anyone. "By the way, what was the secret you wanted to tell me?" I asked, blinking up at him. His eyes turned red. "I don't have a secret to tell." That night, Ethan posted a status update. "My powerlessness has become my downfall." After I moved into Ethan's place, he took great care of me. He made me different meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We got along peacefully. It was only at night he'd lie next to me, tossing and turning, unable to sleep, his breathing heavy. With my back to him, I was scrolling on my phone when I saw a post he'd made just a second ago. It's somatizing. My hand won't stop shaking in my pocket. Before I could figure out what it meant, I refreshed the page and it was gone. Then he posted a new one. "Ethan, get a grip." I refreshed again and it was gone too. I heard Ethan get out of bed behind me. "I think I'll sleep in the guest room for a while." Before he left, he asked me, puzzled, "What kind of body wash are you using?" I stared blankly. "Just yours." "Why?" He frowned. "That's strange. I think it smells really nice." Ethan was very good to me, but it felt like he was intentionally keeping his distance. That was fine by me, though. I didn't have to worry about my belly accidentally touching him in the middle of the night and giving myself away. But as time went on, Ethan started to notice things. "It's so hot out." "Why are you wearing more and more layers?" "To hide my pregnancy." My belly was getting bigger every day. Thin clothes would make it obvious. I could only wear baggy, thick clothes, layering them one on top of another. "I get cold easily. Did you take your medicine? I've noticed you're still throwing up." "You haven't fully recovered from that bug you had." I did, I said, brushing him off. Ethan frowned. I'll make you some porridge tonight. I checked my phone for messages. Just make it and eat first. Leave some for me. I have to go out this afternoon. Today was my checkup. Ethan didn't look happy. He sniffed the air around me. Are you wearing cologne? I sniffed myself. No. At the hospital's obstetrics and gynecology department, Dr. Evans pushed up his glasses. Based on recent studies, it appears human society is evolving into an abo world. After his long explanation, I cried out in shock. You mean I'm pregnant because my luck is so ridiculously bad that I evolved into the weakest, most useless thing in the world in Omega? Don't panic. This is all just a theory for now. The human evolution isn't complete yet. Only a small portion of the population has differentiated into abo subtypes. Until a conclusion is reached, the hospital will continue to keep your secret. So other people hadn't even differentiated yet. Just me. Even more humiliating. Now I wanted to keep my pregnancy a secret more than ever. Dr. Evans advised me, bring your alpha with you next time. We still don't know what dangers an Omega might face during pregnancy. I walked out of the consultation room in a daze, only to see Ethan at the other end of the hall, walking toward me. And right above my head was a massive sign that read, Obstetrics and Gynecology. Ethan looked shocked. I was shocked too. How did he find me? Oh crap, I can't let him find out the pregnant one is me. I was still holding the report. What do? I don't even have a girlfriend. I can't say I'm here with my girlfriend for her appointment. Just then, a beautiful young pregnant woman walked by. Sorry, lady. I'm borrowing you for a second. I ran up to Ethan and pointed at the pregnant stranger behind me. How did you know I was at this hospital? I'm here with my girlfriend for her checkup, but she had to run an errand, so let's go back first. I threw an arm around Ethan's shoulders, trying to get him to leave quickly. But Ethan stood frozen in place. Please, lady, walk slower, I prayed. Don't blow my cover. Let's go, Ethan, I'm hungry. Ethan's eyes were wide with shock. Is that your girlfriend, the pregnant one? Riddled with guilt toward the random woman, I babbled. Yeah, that's her, haha. Let's go. Ethan still didn't move. I watched as the woman got closer and closer. I was so desperate I was about to physically carry Ethan away. Then with a completely shattered expression, Ethan called out to the woman. Mom, I practically dragged Ethan away. Ethan was broken. I was broken too. In the stairwell, he was a complete mess. Ethan, let me explain. It's not what you think. I waved my hands frantically. I didn't know that was your mother. His eyes were empty, his mouth unable to form words. I shook my head so hard it felt like a bobblehead. No, there's nothing between us. Ethan's gaze was vacant. He looked like he'd taken a massive blow. My mom told me I was going to have a little brother, but it turns out it had come to this. No matter how afraid I was of the humiliation, I had to tell him the truth to clear up this colossal misunderstanding. Actually, I just picked a random person and said she was my girlfriend. Because I lifted my shirt right in front of Ethan, my ears burning as I revealed my round, swollen belly. Because the one who's pregnant is me. It was so humiliating. I never imagined it could be this humiliating. By the time I finished explaining to Ethan why I was pregnant, my face was as hot as a boiling kettle. Ethan clutched the report with my name on it, then pressed his ear to my belly. My stomach was much bigger than before. He reached out and touched it, his brow furrowing even deeper. Who's the father? I don't know. Ethan's eyes filled with disappointment. You've been with a lot of people. No, it was only once, I said, shaking my head in frustration. I just don't know who it was that night. I got drunk on my birthday. I can't remember who it was. Ethan shot up, his eyes wide. Your birthday, that was me. Ethan was gay. I could hear his heart pounding like a drum. I went to your house that day to give you a birthday present. You were drunk from the family dinner, and your brothers were fighting over who would take you home. In the end, they handed you over to me, and I took you to your room. I was going to leave right after, but you, his face turned red. You held on to me and kissed me, and you said you needed my help. I couldn't resist you. I'm sorry. The next day I sent you a ton of messages, but you never replied. I thought you regretted it, that you were angry with me. So I initiated it. Wasn't I straight? Wasn't I the one pure, straight lotus flower blooming in the gay mud of my family? I explained. I was so drunk I lost my phone that night. I got a new number the next day, so I never got your messages. A look of joy spread across Ethan's face. My baby, it's mine. The next second, he collapsed to the floor with a strange, ecstatic smile on his face. He ended up on an IV drip at the hospital. The doctor said it was due to extreme emotional highs and lows, a case of excessive excitement. What high? This was all lows, gaining a son out of the blue. He must have wanted to die, and the baby's mother was a man. I couldn't imagine a more hellish piece of news. He must have been unable to process it. He must have felt like the heavens were out to destroy him and just couldn't take the shock, so he fainted right now. Ethan was draped over me, his tears tracing paths across my belly, his body shaking with what I assumed was rage. I patted his back worriedly, trying to comfort him. "Ethan, don't be too upset. You don't have to raise the baby. I won't cause you any trouble. Try to look on the bright side." Ethan slowly lifted his head. His tear-streaked face wore a strange, yet gratified smile. He grabbed my shoulders excitedly, his eyes shining. "Raise it? Why wouldn't we raise it? This is the baby I'll raise. I love raising kids." Oh no, he'd really lost his mind. Ethan was an upstanding guy. Even though it wasn't voluntary, he began to diligently and responsibly prepare for raising a child. He cooked me nutritious porridge from morning till night, researched thousands of precautions, and took care of my every need. He also bought lots of baby clothes, formula, and toys. I never knew Ethan liked kids so much. The once cool campus heartthrob had transformed into a full-time doting dad. I rolled over to get out of bed. Before my foot could touch the floor, it landed in Ethan's hand. "Don't step there. The floor is cold." He squeezed my foot. I instinctively flinched. It tickled. He held on tighter, his well-defined fingers wrapping around my ankle as he slipped a pair of thick, white cotton socks onto my foot. "Now you can step down. Ethan, I'm a man. I'm not as delicate as you think." Ethan was at the table practicing how to mix formula when he saw me walk into the bathroom. He immediately put the bottle down and came over. "Are you going to take a shower?" "I'll help you." He put his hand out to stop me from closing the bathroom door. "I'll help you wash." My face flushed. "I don't think that's necessary." The door wouldn't close with Ethan's hand holding it open. He looked worried. "Won't it be inconvenient for you to wash by yourself?" "What's inconvenient about it? What if you fall?" So he was worried I'd hurt his son. "I won't, I'll be careful." I pushed Ethan out and closed the door. Taking off my clothes, I rubbed my round belly. Ethan had been so good to me lately. So good that I almost thought he was concerned about me. But really, he was just worried about his baby inside my belly. Halfway through my shower, I realized the body wash was on a shelf far away. As I reached for it, my foot slipped on a towel on the floor. I fell backward. Ethan burst through the door. I fell into his arms. He held me, panting with fear. I was worried something might happen, so I was listening at the door. My face was flushed and hot from the steam. The moment my eyes met Ethan's, I quickly buried my face in his chest. It was too embarrassing for him to see me like this. Maybe it was because of the embarrassment, but after I buried my face in his chest, my heart started pounding like crazy. Ethan's arm, which I was gripping, felt so strong. His chest was so firm. His body was so warm. What was happening? I felt a little dizzy. My breathing became rapid. I looked up. Droplets of condensed steam clung to Ethan's messy hair. His nose was high and straight, and his sharp monolids were impossibly magnetic. "He's so handsome." Why was my heart beating faster and faster? It wouldn't stop. It must be the baby kicking, right? At Ethan's insistence, my face beat red with shame. I let him finish washing me. I hid under the covers, my whole body burning up. Blushing, I grabbed Ethan's bedsheet and took a sniff. It smelled so good, intoxicatingly good. I took another deep breath. Being taken care of by Ethan was actually pretty nice. A smile on my face, I was about to go to sleep when my phone dinged twice. I opened it to see a message from my dad. "Orion, I've arranged a blind date for you. Come home this weekend to meet her. You're the only straight one left in this family. My heart isn't what it used to be, and all I want is to hold a grandchild in my old age. You can understand that, can't you? I've raised you like my own son all these years. I haven't been unfair to you, have I?" The next day, I put on my baggiest sweatshirt to hide my pregnancy and rushed home. "Dad, you should probably hold off on arranging blind dates for me." "Why? Who goes on a blind date with a big pregnant belly?" My dad suddenly slammed his hand on the table. "You're back just in time. I have some new information to share with all of you." Caspian, Tristan, and Silas, who were eating, all looked up. My dad announced, "I saw on the news this morning that humanity will be divided into abogenders from now on." I froze. He patted my shoulder. "Ori, the girl I'm introducing you to has already presented as an Omega, and you're an Alpha." "It's a perfect match." Tristan looked confused. "I saw that news too, but has Ori presented yet?" My dad shot him a look, full of confidence. "Even if he hasn't presented yet, a son of the Hayes family will definitely present as an Alpha. Is there even any doubt?" My palms started to sweat. "Dad, maybe I should just..." I've already made the arrangements. I had no choice but to go. Whatever. It was just one of those family arranged things. The girl was probably being forced into it too. We could just put on a show for the adults. But the girl didn't follow the script. Orion, I really like you, she gushed. I reminded her, the adults aren't here. You can stop acting. I'm not acting, I think we're a great match, she smiled shyly. Did your uncle tell you I've presented as a sweet-scented Omega? I sighed. It was debatable which one of us was sweeter. Her eyes sparkled. I think you're different from other guys. I'm pregnant. That's definitely different. The girl grabbed my arm, pressing her face against it. You're so clean and refreshing. Your skin is so fair. You're not greasy at all, and you have a great personality. I pulled my arm away. I'm sorry, we're really not a good match. If you don't agree, I'll just have to chase you. I'll message you every day, send you gifts every day until you say yes. No, really, don't waste your time. I'm not listening, I just like you. Orion, you're the only alpha for me, I frowned. I'm also an Omega, and I'm pregnant. That evening, I had dinner at home. Caspian brought everyone some good news. He had presented as a top-tier alpha. Honestly, you could have guessed with your toes that he'd be an alpha. His power and presence were undeniable. Tristan started to get anxious. Dad, what if I present as an Omega? Nonsense, my dad roared, his face turning pale with rage. The Hayes family will not have a single Omega. Dad and Caspian were both strong-willed. They didn't tolerate weakness. When he first found out my 3 brothers were gay, he'd screamed that if they weren't going to be the manly ones, they could get out. Luckily, my brothers were all impressive in their own right. But an abo designation was final. So this was the first time I'd seen my dad this furious. He tore into Tristan, finally shouting, anyone who presents as an Omega can get out of the Hayes family. The Hayes family doesn't accept weaklings. Then he slammed his bowl and chopsticks down and stormed into his room. I sat at the table, not daring to make a sound. A message came in from Ethan. I'm at your gate. I hadn't told him about the blind date, only that it was a family dinner. He'd said he would pick me up when it was over. I started to get up and leave. Suddenly, Tristan grabbed me from behind. He looked me up and down. Ori, you don't seem right. Don't tell me you've already presented as an Omega. Silas asked too. Yeah, Ori, you haven't really presented, have you? Caspian added. An Omega. I turned around. The 3 of them were staring at me in unison. I shook Tristan's hand off. You all already know, don't you? You know I'm pregnant, so why are you deliberately asking me this? They were clearly provoking me. The 3 of them shot up from their chairs, speaking in one voice. Ori, you're pregnant. Stop pretending. I stormed out and they chased after me. At the gate, Ethan watched the scene unfold, confused. Your brothers are calling you. Why aren't you answering? I have nothing to say to them. I tried to hurry into the car. Ethan stopped me. You don't want to see 3 guys chasing our car down the street like zombies, do you? I looked back. The expressions on my 3 brothers' faces as they ran out were each more exaggerated than the last. Ethan gently persuaded me. It's better to talk things out. With Ethan mediating, the 3 of them and I finally cleared up the misunderstanding. Tristan really didn't know I was pregnant. He had always been clingy with me, and my hormones had just made me more sensitive. Silas had been coming into my room at night because I'd had nightmares ever since the Hayes family took me in, and he was secretly recording my sleep, talking to have a doctor analyze it. And Caspian, though stern, had always doted on me in his own way. He touched my belly because he was happy to see I was being well fed, and he didn't want me to inherit the business because he just wanted me to have a carefree life. They didn't want me to eat spicy food because they saw me throwing up and were worried about my stomach. Their physical contact with me was no different from when we were kids. Dr. Evans later told me my emotions were all over the place during the pregnancy, which was why I was so anxious and overthinking things. Each of my brothers loved me in their own way, but I had misunderstood them for so long. I'm sorry, Tristan just smiled. It's okay, your brother doesn't care, Silas nodded. The important thing now is to keep this from Dad and have the baby safely. Caspian shot a fierce, unreadable glance at Ethan. In the time that followed, with the 3 of them feeding me supplements and Ethan taking care of me, I was being very well looked after by 4 people. It was just a shame that my dad would never acknowledge me as his son again. Why did I have to present as an Omega? I lamented. A nurse in the hospital room glanced at me and offered some comfort. You've got it pretty good, you know. Normally, once the ABO system is fully established, people will only present when they reach adulthood. But right now, the system isn't mature, so people of all ages are presenting. It's chaotic. We even had a middle-aged man come in today, over 40, who suddenly presented as an Omega and got pregnant. The nurse shook her head, tut-tutting. He fainted when he found out. He just woke up from the IV drip. Suddenly, her voice dropped. Here he comes, here he comes. I craned my neck to look and saw the man on the stretcher. Dad, since my dad had also presented as an Omega, he naturally had no grounds to criticize me. He was completely deflated. Later, my baby was born safely. Tristan stood in front of my dad, grinning mischievously. Dad, keep it up, I'm ready to welcome my fifth brother. My dad kicked at him. Get lost, Tristan exclaimed. Dad, be careful you don't upset the baby. The courtyard was noisy and full of life, but my gaze drifted to Ethan, who was holding our child. I sighed. Even though my family had accepted the baby, they still didn't know the truth. Ethan and I were just an accident. He didn't actually like me. I was the one who initiated things on my birthday, and he only took care of me because I was carrying his baby. Now that the baby was born, I had no reason to be with him anymore. So that night, after Ethan and I went back to his place and put the baby to sleep, in the dead of night, under the cover of darkness, I packed a bag and ran away. I hadn't lost my mind, nor had I been kicked in the head by a donkey. I'm just a coward when it comes to love. I had fallen for Ethan. Ethan liked kids, now he had one. My dad liked grandkids, now he had one. I liked Ethan. Other Omegas ran away with the baby. I ran away and left the baby behind. Even though my three brothers were gay, I was adopted, so it's not like their gay genes could have been passed down to me. Maybe I didn't like Ethan that much after all. Maybe it was just an illusion my straightness had only just started to bend. If I left him now and moved to another city to recuperate, I could probably straighten myself out automatically. I went to a quiet, welcoming city in the countryside. I rented a room and threw away my SIM card. But after just a few days, my body started to feel feverish all the time. My temperature would spike, I'd be covered in sweat, and a swelling ache would throb at the back of my neck. My body felt weak and sore, and my breathing was shallow. The worst part was, I had come here to forget Ethan, but my mind was full of him. At night, I'd hug my pillow and imagine I was holding Ethan. In the throes of passion, I'd think, sorry, pillow. I promise I'll wash you tomorrow. This constant longing and dependence on Ethan was driving me crazy. The physical discomfort only grew more severe. Eventually, I couldn't do anything but lie limp in bed, burning up and panting. I struggled to sit up and called my doctor. Doctor, what's happening to me? Why am I like this? Your alpha isn't with you. Dr. Evans sounded shocked. You just gave birth, so your body is already weak. And now you're in heat, your body won't be able to handle it. Then what can I do? Go back to your alpha and seek comfort, of course. I had to trouble Ethan to soothe me. I clutched the back of my neck, which felt incredibly swollen. Never mind. Dr. Evans was frantic. What do you mean, never mind? The inhibitor patches for Omegas haven't been developed yet. You have to get back to your alpha as soon as possible, otherwise, the consequences could be. I hung up the phone. Just endure it. It'll pass if I just endure it. My head swam and I passed out. When I woke up the next day, I could barely breathe. Maybe some fresh air would help. I dragged myself out of bed to go buy some food. In a narrow, cramped alleyway, I leaned against the wall, walking with difficulty. Suddenly, a deep male voice came from behind me, an Omega in heat, not staying home like a good boy. Wandering around, spreading your pheromones. You're being very naughty, aren't you? Before I could turn around, a hand clamped down on my waist. Hot breath fanned across my cheek. The man chuckled menacingly. Aren't you just waiting for me to fuck you? I panicked. Don't touch me, but my limbs were weak and my head was spinning. The man took a deep breath, his mouth gaping open. Let me have a taste of how delicious you are, little baby. His gaping maw was about to bite down on my neck. The next second, he was sent flying by a powerful kick. Ethan caught me as my legs gave out, pulling me into his arms. A scalding tear instantly fell into the collar of my shirt. Ethan's voice trembled. Honey, I missed you so much. At the other end of the alley, my three brothers rushed in. Tristan was so angry his eyes were red. He roared, You son of a bitch, you dare touch Ori. Even the gentle, scholarly Silas picked up a brick and threw it. Caspian pinned the man to the ground with one hand. With the other, he lit the cigarette dangling from his lips. He took a drag, then looked down at the man with contempt. This hand was it, he said coldly. A sickening crack echoed through the alley. The arm the man had used to touch my waist was dislocated. Caspian, who had always been so strict and serious with me, looked up at me. Ori, did he touch you anywhere else? but as soon as I heard that, my strength gave out and I fainted. When I woke up again, I was back home. The air was filled with a rich, calming scent. I opened my eyes. I was lying in Ethan's arms, surrounded by his scented sheets, blankets, pillows, and clothes. I tried to sit up. Ethan gently pushed me back down. Rest a little longer. How did you guys find me? The doctor called us. We found your location the next day. The doctor told you everything. Yes, he said you needed my comfort and that we needed to do more intimate things. I panicked. It's okay, Ethan, I won't trouble you. I can just ride out the heat on my own. Ethan looked at me. You've been permanently marked by me. It's only natural that I help you through this. Really, you don't have to. Ethan, you don't have to see this through just because of that. I know it was an accident. You don't have to feel guilty. Just give me a little more time, and I'll definitely get over my feelings for you. Realizing I'd let it slip, I quickly covered my mouth. Ethan smiled. You like me. I don't worry, I'll stop liking you soon. Why did you run away? My face turned red. I wanted to straighten myself out. Why did you want to do that? I was afraid you didn't like me. Ethan lifted my chin and kissed me. Who said I felt guilty? That accident was incredible. What? Did those words really just come out of the cool campus heartthrob's mouth? Are you going OOC? Ethan held me down and kissed me wildly from my mouth down to my neck. There's a lot more out-of-character stuff that happens in bed. A tingling numbness spread from the back of my neck. He wiped the corner of his mouth, his hands slipping under the covers to grip the waistband of my pants. I threw my head back, gasping for air. Ethan pinned my wrists. Relax. Orion Hayes, don't you ever leave me and the baby again. You fool. I've been in love with you for a long time. The end.